look, I'll try and start off being fair here. I'll try my best, because there's not going to be much fairness throughout the review. No. But let's start off to be a little bit fair. And for two big reasons, I am a little baffled as to why the response to this album has been so vocal. It's been so outrageous and negative, and been somewhat of a dogpile, really, because I've not seen a single positive response to this album pretty much anywhere. I think mostly it's just, Katy stans defending Katy Perry herself, not really the album. But the general response has been very negative. And for two reasons, I'm a little surprised and a little bit confused. Because first of all, the main reason, well, the first reason, they're both two main reasons, really. The first reason is that bad albums happen all the time. Bad albums happen all the time, guys. Pop stars drop bad albums all the friggin' time. Way more than critics want to admit, it seems. Because I saw something on a post somewhere that this was the lowest rated album on Metacritic in 13 years. Now, let me tell you right now, this is not the worst album of the past 13 years. Let's just get that out of the way. There's been plenty of shockers, and as bad as this album is, we will get to it. I think there's been plenty more albums that have been worse than this. Plenty more mainstream artists that have dropped albums on the level of this turd here. So the media response has confused me a little bit, because it's like, whoa, a bad album? Let's talk about this really bad album, the bad album, the CEO of bad albums. Let's talk about this right here. This is the bad album. It's like, all right, guys, chill out. There's been a lot of bad albums. So that's one of the main things that's confused me. Secondly, Katy Perry herself has dropped some stinkers. She ain't got one album where there's not a bad song on it. Every album of hers, there's at least one song, or even more, in the past few albums, where there's some real stinkers on them. I mean, Witness was full of them. The singles for Prism were shit. They were all crap. And then they've got Smile, which the lead single was good, actually. But then the rest of the album was just absolute dog poo. So Katy Perry herself is pretty prone to dropping bad music. So we need to probably calm down a little bit, guys, because it's not that surprising this has happened. For again, the two reasons I've mentioned. One, bad albums happen all the time from mainstream artists. And two, Katy Perry herself has dropped bad albums herself. That being said, while that has confused me a little bit, the music is just really bad, isn't it? There's just no mincing words here. There's just no mincing words. What are we doing? Why are we saying if you don't like pop music, you're just a pretentious loser who has to live with their mom in the basement. Oh, you're a virgin if you don't like pop music. I don't even think I've ever met a single person that doesn't like at least one pop song. So I just think that argument's terrible anyway. But why are we saying it about this? What are we doing? This isn't the pivotal moment in pop music where it's like, oh, this is the one right here. Pop music's had a great year. The past 12 months, we've seen Chapel Roan get massive. We've seen Brat become such a cultural phenomenon. There's been so many good pop albums over the past year alone. This isn't any kind of metric for how good pop music can be. This is bad. This is really bad. So no, the real answer here is that if you think this album's bad, it probably means you got taste. There's so many fantastic pop albums throughout the history of music, and Katy Perry just isn't hitting that level, really, with this album, or most of her albums, actually. So, yeah, it just didn't need to get this bad, did it? It just didn't need to get this bad. And the depressing thing about this album for me as well, it feels like it was so try-hard on her end. She was so desperately trying to appeal to a particular demographic that have just basically shunned her. And she was so desperately trying to make an album that it feels like she thought she needed to make, or the type of music she just felt like was right, and she had to make this kind of music. Do you know what I mean? You know when someone's telling you something, you want to hear, and you can feel that they're just saying it because you want to hear it. They don't actually mean it. They don't actually have much genuine, feelings about what they're saying. They're just saying because you want to hear it. That's what this album is to me. It's she thought people wanted to hear this, so she gave them that. And it's just so depressing because it's like you can clearly tell she was trying to commit to the bit, and it just all sounds really bad. We've all spoken enough about Woman's World as a single and how much of a train wreck that ended up being, because it just didn't appeal to really many people at all. It barely charted, didn't really stick around, and kind of by the point of this album coming out, it feels like the discourse around the song has even come and gone too. Like, people are kind of bored of talking about how bad of a song that is. But God, it is bad, isn't it? Like, it's bloody bad, because she's really trying to just make these baity lyrics about how women are good, women are great, they're strong, baby. Yeah, baby, women are strong, baby. Yeah, baby, they can do what men can do. Yeah, baby. And it's like, that would be absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with that message. It's just the way she's saying it. Like, oh, God. It just sounds like you asked your auntie to make an album, and it's like, this is what she'd come up with. Like, no, Auntie Glenda, just make the songs that are about how good women are. And she goes, oh, you're right, love, yeah, I'll do that. Oh, that's a good idea, isn't it? And then she makes this song. It's the most obvious bait ever. Even Lizzo never stooped this low, and she made just the most baitiest, empowering anthems of the past like 5 or 6 years. And look what happened to her. Nobody talking about Lizzo now. They don't like Lizzo anymore, no. So yeah, it's just so see-through, so obvious, and nobody took to it. And it's kind of cool that nobody took to it, because songs like this get made all the time and people just gas it up. So it's like, kind of cool that people just saw through this bullshit, because more often than not, people don't see through this bullshit, and it ends up being like top of the charts. So an interesting switch in the shifts of pop culture and how people are responding to music now. I feel like we have seen a sea change, because I think maybe there was once upon a time where Katy Perry could have made this song, probably back on her really peak days, because some of the, really basic lyrics are not that far away from something like a Raw or a Firework, if we're being really honest. I know some Katy Perry fans will not like me saying that, but her writing has always been basic. Like, this isn't a million miles away from the basic vanilla writing she had on those songs, and those songs were top of the charts for ages. But the times have shifted. We've seemed to have shifted what we look for in our pop music now, and Katy Perry doing this robotic AI sounding electronic track that has no life or soul to it with these really basic lyrics isn't sticking. So maybe this was an afterthought, because she saw the response to these tracks and thought, well, you know what does stick around? You know what does get the numbers? 21 Savage. Yeah, baby. 21 Savage. Talking about how I'm like Amazon, I've got what you need, and yeah, 21, yeah. And it's like, nah. Nah, I don't even think any 21 Savage fan will click play on this and enjoy it at all. And even as somebody that's very critical of 21, because I don't think he's anywhere near as good as people make him out to be honest with you, it just doesn't change my mind on that. Like, even 21 can be better than this, so like, this is low for him. But yeah, just the trashy chorus, everything just feels so plastic. When something just feels so fake and plastic, and it's been shoved in your face in a corporate way, and you're trying to be sold something that you just don't want to buy, you don't need it. And again, usually people buy the stuff they don't need, but everyone just seems to be rejecting this. It's an interesting dynamic we have here. So how do we improve the album, you say? How do we make this better? 21's not going to improve it. Get Kim Petrus on the phone. Yeah, Kim Petrus is here to save the day. Which, I'm not even just saying this because I don't like Kim Petrus, but this is the worst song on the whole thing. The production is ugly as hell. Whatever the friggin' siren, horrible scratching sound that is that's in the production, that's just screeching and hate it. Hate it, hate it, hate it, hate it, hate it, hate it, hate it. Oh, hate it, hate it, hate it, hate it, hate it, hate it. Horrible. I think this sounds like what people think Hudson Mohawk makes. If you don't like his music, you'd listen to this song and think, oh yeah, that sounds terrible. Like that's just like the hellish version of Hudson Mohawk production. And again, this song feels like she's trying hard to be a little weird and out there and be like, oh look, I can do the hyper pop weird thing that you all seem to like, and it just misses the mark massively, and it doesn't get it right at all, and it doesn't know how to craft a melody. And you've still got Kim Petrus on here. That's just Kim Petrus, I guess. Speaking of the production as well, most of this is handled by Dr. Luke on this album, and her response to Dr. Luke being on the album was absolutely odd, because she was like, oh, well, you know, I'm just trying to get all the producers that I collaborated with before, and like, here they are on production to do the things that they did previously. And it's like, yeah, but okay, do we not know or remember what happened with Dr. Luke and the Kesha thing? Like, surely you know about that, unless she's just playing blissful ignorance to it or something, I don't know. But it just makes it even worse that he's on most of this album, but also like a women's empowerment song as well that kicks off the album. It's just everything that could go wrong with an album has gone wrong here, hasn't it? Like, everything you could possibly expect, just nothing is sticking at all. Because to make matters worse, you've then got the classic lazy sampling thing that's been flooding pop music for the past 5 years. It's like she is hitting every cliche in the book. And a part of me kind of just wants to say in an interview, look guys, that I was playing a character, because that would be hilarious. If she came out and be like, look guys, got ya. This was the whole point. It was meant to be bad. I think I'd cry laughing, because that would be funny. I don't think that is what she's trying to do, but I kind of wish she just tries something to get something, to get some kind of desperate ploy to get people back on her side, because that would be hilarious. But Jesus Christ, like, everything you could expect from a bad album is just here. The freaking Gypsy Woman, Crystal Waters classic being slowed down in this track with Doechii, and it's like, we just didn't need this sample at all. Like, it doesn't add to the song, it just sounds really botched and just forced in. And Doechii is trying her best to save this song. She's doing a decent job with her verse, but it doesn't do enough to make it good. It just sounds really, again, plasticky and fake to me. And essentially her verse is like, you know that scene from The Amazing Spider-Man 2 where Gwen Stacy's falling down and then hits the floor? But Spider-Man does pretty much like catch her in the air, but it's just too late, and she still hits the floor and, well, sadly dies anyway. Like, that's Doechii on this song. Like, she tried to save it, and she did attempt to, but the song's like already dead. Crush has all of the classic cliches in modern pop music that make a lot of people feel so negative about modern pop music and have such bad attitudes to. They are talking about songs like this, the rhymes, Crush, Blush, the la-di-da-di-da thing on the chorus as well, the generic like synth pop instrumental that feels like it's just been rehashed over and over and over and over again. There's just nothing going on here, is there? Like, there's just nothing to latch onto to go, oh yeah, there's something to like about this. The closest I have is Lifetimes, which sounds fine. I think if I didn't know it was Katy Perry and it popped up on the radio, it would just sound like any other summer dance tune that pops up on like some kind of Radio 1 dance mix. And yeah, sure, cool, it's whatever. It will play in the background of, like, I don't know, Too Hot to Handle or Love Island or one of those shows. It will play in the background of one of those at some point, of course. But again, like, that's the worst bit. I'm saying that it could be anyone. Like, it's not a good song, but it's an average song that sounds like anyone could make it. And I'm sure nobody would have thought that back when she was making songs like I Kissed a Girl. Like, the soul and the life has just been sucked out of everything here. You've got Artificial as well, where I guess is some kind of commentary on AI. I don't know. Is it her trying to be ironic because this album sounds like AI made it? I don't know. Jid comes through and basically explains like what AI is on his verse. It's like he's doing a lot of heavy lifting here to be like, guys, the theme of this song is about this. It's essentially like Jay-Z on Monster. Like, it's like the equivalent of that on this song. He's just basically like just telling you about AI and technology and shit. Like, I don't know if he just didn't know how to make a good verse for this song, or he's just trying his best to get people to understand what Katy Perry was trying to do on this song, because her lines don't do enough. I don't know, whatever it is. I just, at this point, I'm in awe of how Jid will do anything to get the bag. He collaborates with anyone. He will collaborate with anyone. Look, there's just nothing to say here. I feel like I'm beating a dead horse. I feel like the dog pile has done enough to tell you what makes this album bad already. And I feel like people had decided before it even came out that it was bad anyway. Me probably being one of those people, in fairness. But yeah, it's just as bad as you'd expect, and a sea change possibly for modern music, where one of the legends of pop really has bowed out now, because I don't think you can come back from this. I think her last few albums have been bad enough to kind of steer people away from her anyway, and with the fact that this felt like it was attempting to be some kind of comeback and it's just fallen flat on its face, to me just feels like there's no way Katy can recover here. But who knows? We've got enough new up-and-comers to carry the torch in pop music now. I don't think we're really missing Katy Perry anyway, but God, it's bad. 3 out of 10 from me. It's terrible. It's one of the worst albums of the year, undoubtedly. I can't even deny that. By the end of the album, I just felt like my life had left me and I don't know where my soul had gone. It really is that bad. It's soulless pop music that just feels like there's nobody behind the eyes. There's nobody behind the eyes, guys. There is no soul here. And yeah, it's as bad as everyone's saying. It's an easy target for critics as well, so nobody's putting their neck on the line calling this a bad album. There were plenty of albums that they could have put their neck on the line for over the past 5 or 6 years that they didn't do that for, as you can clearly tell with the general response to most popular albums or beloved albums, because, you know, it seems as though nobody really wants to go that far. But this one, we all decided it was bad before it came out. It was an easy one to pile onto. I'm not telling you anything you don't already know. So thank you for watching this review. Hopefully you got something out of it though. Hopefully you got a unique perspective, as I like to try and bring to the table. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you agree with me, disagree with me, what I should review next. Check out my Patreon if you're feeling really generous too. I would love to see you over on there. At the very least, subscribe to the channel and like the video too. Have a good day. Goodbye.